Well, it's Sunday morning, which means I've got somewhere to go, which means I really ought to do something about being able to see, doesn't it? Yes, well, the car's telling me that it's freezing, literally. Okay, yeah, that'll do, won't it? It's not as if there's traffic or anything. Well, that's somewhat better. Right, this morning I'm going to Azay for the proper Sunday morning activities, but just look at this gorgeous sunshine. The car tells me that it's now half a degree above freezing, and the windscreen tells me that I can go like that, turn the demister off. Right, what a lovely, lovely day. Now, we've commented on these dead straight roads, but if you look, this dead straight road aims exactly at the church in Azay, which of course means that when we get there it has to deviate. Oh, yeah, that wasn't so good, was it? There we are. Well, cold, yes, you know, it's just at freezing, but what a glorious, glorious morning. Not so glorious, the clock, l'horloge, seems to have stopped. Oh well, I'm sure somebody can wind it up or do whatever, but isn't that just a gorgeous sky? Well, it's quite a lovely day today. We walked past the graveyard. I've got a job that, you know, there's only one way to do it, and it's the hard way. This tree here, it's been dead for a couple of years, I would guess. At least a couple of years. 2 days ago, I dropped that bit off it, and I'm quite keen to cut that up for firewood, but I can't lift it, and I did think about dragging it. You know, I could bring the car through and put a rope on it and drag it. You know, I'm not one of these guys with a tractor with a grab on the front, but I don't want to tear up the ground, so I'm not going to drag it. I'm just going to have to cut it up where it is. That'll be fun. Well, that got the pump pumping a bit. Yeah, that's one bit. Well, in the finish I just did it with old-fashioned brute force and ignorance. Put a rope round one end of it, chucked the rope over my shoulder, dragged it across the field. Yeah, all I've got to do now is cut it up. Well, that's a start made. Yeah, I think I'm going to go and have a cup of tea and recover a little bit, basically. Well, what a lovely, lovely, well, what do we call it? Scene, vista. What a wonderful, wonderful environment to wake up in. You know, yeah, challenges for the day. graves to be dug. The idea of digging before the frost is that it lets the frost break up the lumpy old clay. I've been chucking shavings or sawdust in there from where I've been cutting up firewood. Dragged that limb away. Still got this chunk of tree to take down. It's dead. It was dead when we acquired the property. Yeah, that should keep me warm for some time to come. Yeah, but what a beautiful, beautiful place to wake up. Well, this wall, as I say, it's an as and when job. I've got rid of Norway. It doesn't look like a map of the Baltic anymore. I'm going to give this about 10 minutes, which is about as long as my knees like doing this job, and then I'm going to get on with some wiring, I think. Oh, this is fun, isn't it? Yeah, cutting in. Yeah, cutting in so I can install the electrics neatly. But what I'm going to do is go and have a walk around the estate, I think. Clear my lungs a bit. Don't you just hate it when you're halfway through a job and you realise that the next part of the job needs something that you haven't got? So I'm going to shoot down to the bric-a-marche and get a double socket, plug socket thing. I want all of the bits to go into the wall, so it's sort of flush with the wall fitting. So that's what we're up to. Well, I was well organised. I wrote a list to make sure I didn't forget anything. So I didn't forget anything. I got me double plug socket, which is what I was after, and cake. You know, it's all very well saying can't live by bread alone. The odd bit of cake doesn't hurt at all. There we are. Right. Let's get back to Azay le Ferron. Well, good morning to you, good morning. It's a sort of grey day. We got threats of not heavy rain, but rain enough to make it damp. But I've dropped down to the town of Blanc. And if you're looking on a map, and if you speak English badly like I do, it's Blanc, okay? And being me, of course, I got up too early, and let's just run across the road a bit. And so I'm just wandering about aimlessly a bit, waiting for shops to open. Yeah, He's a big old chap. He's going to be disappointed because I've got no bread to give him. Isn't this just gorgeous? Oh dear. They're following me. Perhaps they're waiting for the shops to open as well. There's a sign here that tells us a little bit about the place. The ford here, the Roman road, came from the north by way of the Rue des Alouettes and the Rue de Guay, heading for Poitiers using a ford. Opposite you on the south bank, the former wheat mill was transformed into a linen spinning mill. There's a sign there for any would-be canoeists. You know, you can canoe down that bit an awful lot more safely than if you went hurtling across that weir. Well, salmon. Not today, perhaps. Now, one of the joys of working on an old building is there's no straight lines on it. I was just looking at that house, and what a wonderful building that is. Nothing vertical, nothing square. Mixed construction, there's stone, I can see brickwork. That's fascinating, isn't it?